Welcome, Lee here from Play Guitar Academy with another Why They Work lick video. You're getting pretty good at bar chords, but something's just not right. You know there's something more to it that you're not getting. Well, today's the date we're going to put all of that behind us. I have 10 rhythm licks full of essential embellishments, and these are going to get you started off right. But before we get started, if you struggle with chords that buzz, or they fret out, or they sound dull, it is time to put that behind you as well. When you learn to play your chords with precision, all of your playing sounds better, and I can help you with my free guide to clear sounding chords. So take a second to click the link in the description, and you can start moving up the rhythm guitar ladder. Okay, let's get started with the licks. Today I'm playing in the key of E using the chords E, A, B, and C sharp minor 7. Rhythm lick number 1 is really important to your rhythm guitar playing, especially when you blend in different sounds and blend in some single notes as well too. So we're going to start at the E bar chord at the 7th fret. It's the A-shaped bar chord. And I'm going to bar the D, G, and B strings on this and not play the high E string. I'm going to mute that. And what we're going to do, we play that for the first beat and a half. And then we do a slide. We're going to put our third finger on the 9th fret. That's the 2nd degree of the scale, and slide up to the major 3rd. That's 2 frets ahead. That's on the 11th fret of the A string. So far. Now what this does is it takes us out of this position and puts us in the major pentatonic pattern 1 position. You'll know it as a G-shaped position as well too. And that is great for little rhythm fills, embellishments, all sorts of things. And here in this lick, once we slide up to the major 3rd, we're going to bar 2 of the chord tones there and then hammer on the 11th fret. So we're taking notes from our pattern 1 major pentatonic and using those as fills and passing notes to get between chords. So here's the whole thing. And we ended on our E chord, all 9s on the D, G, and B string. So in rhythm lick number 2, we've moved up to our G-shaped E chord. That's at the 9th to the 12th fret. You could think of it like this if you put your pinky down as a G shape there. We're in this place. It's the same place where pattern 1 of the major pentatonic is, and we're going to use that. We're already playing, as we come into this lick, the E chord barred at the 9th fret. That's ringing. So now we're going to start with the 9th fret on the D string. That's our B. That's the 5th of the chord. To the C sharp, which is an 11th fret on the same string. To the root note, the E at the 9th fret. So just a little single note lick to pass over to our double stops. Now these are double stops that you'll see in a lot of different songs that form off of this G shape here. So they're really important to remember if you're going to embellish any chord that's in there. In fact, if you look down at this regular G shape in open position, there's a lot of famous songs that use these double stops here. So let's take a look at these double stops. What do we got? We have the 10th fret on the B string and the 11th fret on the G string. This little diagonal shape right in front of our chord. And then it slides up 2 fret to the 12th on the D and the 13th on the G. Now the 12th and the 13th here, these are chord tones. If you can see that they're notes that come right from our E-shaped chord up at the 12th fret. This is the B and the G sharp. That's the 5th and the major 3rd of E. So we start with the chord that's ringing already. That's the E. Then we have one passing double stop that slides up 2 frets that gives us a new voicing of E, 2 of the notes from the E chord at the 12th fret. You can think of it as 2 different lines moving up through the scale. If we go through these double stops just on the 1 string, so we have E, F sharp, G sharp, and then on the B string at the 9th fret, we have G sharp, A, B. So we're using these double stops really as passing notes to get to some new chord tones. Let's take a look at rhythm lick number 3. We're going to start off very similar to the first one, sliding from the 2nd to the major 3rd on the A string. And then we're going to play a little bit of the chord. That's the 5th and the root, both barred at the 9th fret. We're going to take a note from the E major pentatonic scale pattern 1, 11, and then come back to the chord. But what's going to make this different is we're going to play an actual single note fill, a little embellishment before we move to a new chord. All these rhythm licks have been over an E, and we've got a B coming up in the next measure. So we're going to play 9/11 on the G string, and then we're going to take the tonic note E, go up to an F sharp, which is the second, back to the E. Then we're going to go to a C sharp, which is our sixth, major sixth, and then the fifth is where we'll end it right before we go to rhythm lick number 4. In rhythm lick number 4, we're going to use an add 9 as an embellishment to play over a major chord, similar to what Jimi Hendrix and Stevie Ray Vaughan would do. So we're going to play our B major chord at the 7th fret, similar to a half of an F, down in open position, and that's our B note at the 9th fret on the D, and then we have our D sharp on the G string at the 8th fret, and then on the 7th fret we have our F sharp and our B, the 5th, and the root up there. And what we're going to do, we play that twice, 3 times, but on beat 3, we're going to add our pinky up here to the 9th fret. Now listen to that. That's a really cool sound. We have our root, 3rd, 5th, and now the 9th. It's called an add 9. It's not a 7th chord. It's an add 9. It's a triad with a little extra on top of it. And then we're going to pull that off, put it back on, take it back off. You've heard these kind of sounds from a lot of players. It's a really cool sound. And whenever you have a major chord, if you want to fill some time, if you want to get some little interest, you can add that to your major chord, the root going up 2 frets, add 9, and then you can take it back down, similar to a sus4. In rhythm lick number 5, we're going to take that same idea, but change it a little bit. So let's take that major chord that we played up at the 7th fret and slide it back 2. So now we're playing over an A chord. That's the root, the 3rd, the 5th, and the root, all in A right here at the 5th fret. And now what we're going to be doing is, instead of putting our pinky on the high E string, taking it and removing it like we did before, we're going to tuck it under on the G string. What that does is it takes our major 3rd up a fret. This becomes a suspended 4th that gives this sound. You've heard it in the Who songs. You've heard it in a million different songs. And what it does is it takes that major 3rd up, and when you put that 4th in there, it sounds nice, but has a little bit of tension. It wants to resolve back to the major 3rd. So let's take a look at the rhythm here. We play it 1, 2, 3, and go. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. So we're playing the A chord straight twice. 1, 2, then on beats 3 and 4, we have 8th notes now. We're going to start with the suspended 4th, put that pinky down, and then release it on the and of that beat, and then do the same thing on beat 4. Now, rhythm lick number 6, we're going to take the suspended 4th that we used in the last lick, but we're going to do it with open position chords here as well. So take that regular old E that you've already learned, right? And what we're going to do is learn to add one little note to it. We're going to suspend the 3rd, just like we did in the last lick, but just this time in open position. So what we're going to do is, where our first finger is on the G string, we're going to tuck our pinky underneath. So that's the G sharp. We're going to go to an A note. A is the 4th in the key of E. And that gives this same sound as the one before, this very pleasing but tense sound. It wants to resolve back to the major 3rd. And we're going to play this in this rhythm. We're going to do a whole note. 1, 2, 3. Again. 1, 2. And you can do this anytime you have an E chord that lasts for a very long time. You can add the suspended 4th and take it away. Doesn't change anything about how the chord functions, but just adds a little interest and fills a little time. Now in rhythm lick number 7, I'm going to introduce the big power chord, the big E power chord here. So especially if you're playing acoustic guitar or something without distortion, but you need a really big sound, this is something that you can use. We're going to take rhythm lick number 6 and change it a little bit. So start off just the same way with our E chord. that lasts for 2 beats. 1, 2. And then we're going to start off just like we did. Same chord. On the upstroke, we're going to play the E sus4 like we did in the last lick. But now, let's do something a little bit different. We're going to take this pinky that we added here, the A, and we're going to slide it up to the B note. So slide that pinky up 2 frets. Then we're going to take our first finger and bar the 2nd fret on the A string and the D string. But you notice I'm lifting my finger off a little bit so that the high E and B strings can ring. Now listen to this. What a cool chord. Very cool, very open, very powerful sounding. And it's because it's a power chord. So we have the E note here. The next string is a B. The next note is an E. The next note is a B. The next note is another B. And then the high string is a high E. So all we have in this is the E note and the B note with a bunch of doubles. Really cool chord, very jangly, very powerful. Rhythm lick number 8. This one is really, really important. This is called the minor 7th hammer-on. And this shape you're going to see in a ton of different styles of music. You'll see it in classic rock, country music, folk music. You'll see it in Rolling Stones songs all over the place. We're going to play it first, then we'll talk about it. So take your first finger and bar the 4th fret from the high E string down to the A. And what we're going to do is hammer on 2 notes to that bar. And those are your 2nd finger on the 5th fret. That's an E note of the B string. And then your 3rd finger on the 6th fret. That is a G sharp. And that is on the 6th fret of the D string. Very cool sound, especially right now in the song where we go to this chord, the C sharp minor 7. So we're going to start with the bar, hammer that on, and now we're going to take it away 2 times. We're going to pull those notes off twice. Now I'm using a hybrid approach. So I'm picking the low note and then I'm pulling the other notes with my middle and ring finger. And if you notice right here at the end, the very last time we pull off, that's these 4s across. And this happens to be the bottom of a B major chord there. And that's the chord that's playing in the rhythm track there. So in the end of this measure, when we pull off, that pull off matches the chord that's playing right now, the B chord. So we have C sharp, B right there. In rhythm lick number 9, we're going to take our minor 7th shape, but now we're going to use it in another way that you could use in tons of different songs. So we're going to start off just like we did before. We've got this hammer-on from the 4th fret bar up to the 5th fret on the B string and then the 6th fret on the D string. And we're going to do a pull off just like we did in the last one. But now we're going to take this shape and use it in a different way. The new chord that's coming in is an A chord. And we can take this minor 7th shape we're playing and use it as a major chord as well too. How we're going to do that now is we're going to slide this shape up to the 9th fret. Notice the difference there. The bass note is A. In this position, we have something that looks like a C chord. Like these are the top of a C major chord here. So we have the low open A string here. We're going to play the 11th fret on the D, the 9th fret on the G, and then I'm going to play the 10th fret on the B string here. These are all notes from the A major chord here. So, and because we're using the same shape as before, we don't really have to change our fingers at all. We just slide it up. So it makes it very easy to get in between these 2 chords. And finally, in rhythm lick number 10, we're going to take a different approach, and instead of adding notes and taking them away, we're going to start looking at rhythm. We're going to start changing up the rhythm a little bit in a different way. In this one, we're going to be using quarter note triplets. So if you've never played quarter note triplets, most people have played eighth note triplets, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. But what this is three, in this first instance, chords that fit over 2 beats. So you have 1, 2. How do you divide that into 3? So this is what it sounds like. I'm going to put that A chord back up we were just playing. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's a really cool triplet sound that's not typical, not used all the time. It creates a little bit of tension, especially here as a fill coming back to the beginning of the chord progression. So we do that with the chord, this A major chord that's using this minor 7th type shape 3 times. 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to continue that rhythm now, but with single notes. We play an A, a G sharp, and an F sharp. That's going to lead us back to an E. And that all happens with these quarter note triplets. Thanks for playing along today, and thanks to all of our Academy members over at playguitaracademy.com who are tearing into the tab and guitar profiles from this lesson right now. Don't forget to download your guide to clear sounding chords. This will help you get your chords sounding awesome. And as always, let me know what you think in the comments. Have a great practice. I'll see you in the next lick video.